a lizard or a turtle standing on it, which is, of course, supposed to be the world. So for everyone to still see the symbolism of Hermes is Cain. Cain is the king, is the Khan, is the Cohen. It's the same system. Because some people, they jump on this hermetic side. I'm hermetic and I'm working with the alchemy. Okay, well, let me show you where the alchemy leads. Now we're fast forwarding into the future more and seeing how it's bottled and packaged today and bought to us, which of course is now the rites and the cults of the Masons and the Illuminati, which are so shrouded in mystery, it makes everyone want to join just to see what's going on. Like that's the point that they really wanted to get. Because much of what they were accomplishing, what were they accomplishing? They were working for none other than the same entity that has always been here, the Lord of the land. So all the major expansion didn't happen, or wouldn't happen, so thus it didn't. Meaning that all of this expansion of all this knowledge and wisdom and DMT and all the rest of this stuff that we have here on this planet doesn't happen for the human beings because these idiots keep thinking that they're going to get another result from a liar. Now, here's the other thing. If you really want to understand what the pyramids are, they were prisons or prisms for Azazel. And he was imprisoned in there until these people, who I'm going to show you here in a moment, decided that they wanted to unearth him. It's possible that when they say they missed lining up Ramses' temple by a couple minutes, that they were playing around, that they lined up the temple, bought Ra out through a ray, put Ra into something else, and then started the whole thing all over again with even more devilishness on the land. Because remember, this being resides in the subconscious, so it can reside in a person's sleep-like state or dense state where its thoughts can be heard and thus become entertaining to an individual in that frequency. So what you have is that once the serpent cult, now remember I told you Zeus is now back with his serpent cult and Quetzalcoatl and Santa Claus. And the idea, though, is really sacrifice. It's sacrifice behind it. And sacrifice doesn't always mean you get stretched over the altar like a lot of these people did here in this country that I'm in right now. It didn't always mean that. It also meant that your time getting wasted is also a sacrifice. Everything you do that's not about the inner verse is a sacrifice to some degree. So make sure that it's actually not going to one of these creepos, and that is going to this reality who actually needs some people to get ready to make some sacrifices in order to get everyone else out of this messed up situation that everyone is ignoring. So here we go again. These are druids, by the way. If you didn't understand who they are, they're about to make the sacrifice. Now people that gravitate to the druids, this is what will happen. They'll look at this image and say, he's misinterpreting it. He doesn't know about the ancient Druid traditions and the Celtic gods and the Maimers. Look, all I know is about the hinges and the gates and what come out of the hinges and gates. The geometry of how England has been configured is to bring forth the fallen angels. I even have the maps of where the fallen angels are. This is, again, not a game. Like, they only have a certain more set of time. Really, they don't have the time. It's actually getting most of humanity free of it so that vibration can carry the rest of the people before the game is up. We're not waiting on them. And people think, oh, you know, he's just 7. They think it's a game over here. Like, I'm expanding. People need to expand. Like, we got to get to something new. This is over. Like, that's how it is for people who have enough will. You just know what you got to do and you start going to do it. Here's the problem. This is Baal. See, Baal has a temper. All these lords have tempers. They're fire gods. So when they get angry, somebody gets sold off, somebody gets their eye or third eye poked out. Like, that might not be his physical eyes getting poked out these days, but our third eye gets poked out by Ham. As Jay Electronica said, men with the face of pigs spat acid that lasered my third eye closed. Like, they're talking about how the tribe of Ham, who were really the first ones to start causing the conflicts and the wars, closed everyone's third eye and the ability for everyone to see through all these religions and veiling God and making God not able to be accessed by man anymore. Same thing now. You can't go and talk to the king. People are further than 3 degrees of separation from the king. Their words don't get heard. So obviously he's not your kin. I mean, he's not your king if he doesn't want to talk to you. Look, this is Ramses back here. Now, here you are, lord of an empire. And all you got time to do is hang around in a dungeon and beat the prisoners? What is the message here? That's what people need to start thinking about. Why they always want to run behind this stuff and say that it's about them. And then now you see why you're here. They jump on the side of Ramses. Ramses is a war god. He's Ram. He's Samael himself. All they do is they just take in the energy. Once they get a new body, they're hoping to have someone that thinks it's their divine right to actually take in the energy. And generally there is. How many people in this world want to be a star? How many people in this world will do almost absolutely anything in order to be in the spotlight? So that's also the inclination of what has been taught here on this planet, is actually making the beings that live here also a part of the problem. Let's keep going through this. But how you release problems is you at least cite the child and tell the child what the problem is. See, this is also the higher level of understanding, is that our parents, and we're the parents, but we're supposed to be here. Like whatever happens, we're supposed to train through it. We're supposed to work through it, find other ways. We're not supposed to just give up and put it in the hands of somebody else. So that's what's known. Like that's at least what's known by me. So this is something else going on. This is once again those confusing ones asking for things that they're even getting. This is, of course, people seen this image before. It's the Shriner baby. The child, before he even starts knowing anything, is now a Shriner. Because the parent believes so much that the Shriners know the truth, even though they're worshiping his Azazel with the, look, pentagram, crescent, sword. That's all you need to evoke the entity. There's not even evocation. All you got to do is go take your sword to your brother, and you're in. You're a general. Here's a star. You see, in the other cultures, it's the other symbol. They just give you the symbol, give you the badge, give you the emblem, give you the mark for your achievement of what? Holding yourself back? Here is more. I can look in this man's eyes and know that he's not comfortable where he is. I don't have to know his tradition. And so what it says is that our children are here suffering under the oppression of religious systems that belong now to demigods that need to get knocked out. And to see the power of the human being, like that's why they keep playing the game. Look, in most of these traditions, when you finally get into it, and I think we'll see some pictures here, you'll find little bitty short bees, which bees is one of the ancient gods of Africa. He's like this big, right? I think he's connected also to Paimon. But he keeps up more disturbance and ruckus than almost any of the giants, right? That are like super big. So if this was about size and physical size, then bees wouldn't be on top of Horus's statue and actually imported from Africa into Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. You see what I mean? So what I'm saying is this is not about how small you appear. This is about what you really are, because what you are is massive. If your consciousness has already grown beyond doing things like this, then it's already massive. The only thing that you need is the keys. You also need to see where you're being binded. Like what is around you that is making you held back, because every time it sends its signal to you, or it has your DNA all over it. You just haven't made the right switch in all of your DNAs that are all strewn around the planet to get them awake in the environments that they're actually in, to understand how to unlock themselves from the ignorant walls that they've been pierced into. What happens here is that you see, of course, the wicked man is celebrated. This is Vlad the Impaler. Everyone understands that's, of course, the original Dracula, running around hanging people on crosses and impaling people through their genitive principles and hanging them out in the open. Now today, characters like this are idolized within the Gothic traditions. So it's the same thing here. You see King Xerxes on the throne. He's all up there, crescents and everyone, the entourage, basically who's all in VIP. And then you got down here the groaning and complaining Sanhedrin Jews and Christians ready to do the same thing when they get up there. Zionists, as they call themselves, even Pope hanging around, just waiting for a time so that they can start a war, so they can flip the whole thing over again. Meanwhile, the people are the spoils. You got individuals like this running around the reality initiated into something that they don't even have the chakra system to understand. Going forward, you have it stretching all across the globe. They say, behold, the whole world wandered after the beast. What they're saying is that what the considered world, because first of all, the expansion of what we are goes beyond the word world, okay? But the whole world, meaning the actual marked out domains, like these countries and nations they keep mapping out, wander after it. So here is a triad, which of course is the Oriental system of the secret society. On the crown here in the middle, you see something of a dragon, but which is Bahima. It's also, of course, a cherubim in the middle of the horn crown. So this extends for people, because some people say, I'm going to go to the Orient. I'm going to go study with the Lama. I'm going to go with Buddha. Never realizing it's actually the same characters. Because the idea is still the same. You're going somewhere to get something that actually is inside. Here it is again. This is Lao Tzu. This is Buddha and Confucius, causing much confusion, changing up the entire system of what the people believed in before they got there. You see, the yin and yang is being considered, meaning the dualistic principle is being considered. And the implementation of the dualistic system is what is being commanded. The Trinity is working in the same level of the Trinities of what you see throughout many of the oppressive belief systems of the world. Then you have individuals who are still carrying that bloodline, meaning that they are still elected as the ones that are closest in lineage to the original one that got seeded first. And then those individuals generally float around the dimension and just tell everyone everything is going to be fine, and that all of what we're dealing with is just about demons, but they don't tell anyone about why the demon is actually dealing with them, or how could it be affecting them. And it's because in this reality we have to put ourselves on a certain frequency in order not to be taken advantage of. Like, it's basically like if you're in this childlike state, then something can at times take advantage of you. And then if something is not there to actually assist you in that moment, then you end up becoming scarred. Now, if people want to think, does that happen or not? We need to start getting really serious here, because in the real world, it happens all the time. There are things that occur that people don't see the unseen part of the actions that took place to make that happen. That's why I keep trying to explain to people. It takes place in the heavens before it takes place in the planet. You have an oversoul, a maximized version of you that you have to connect with, so that way you stay in the know. Like, you know all the time what's about to happen, what is happened, and whatever will happen. It's like you're just on a mission working with the reality to increase the situation to the better of it. It's like that's something that we definitely need to be engaged in. But first, we have to work with ourselves. So as you see here, again, it's spreading over all cultures. You have the red one eye. See, when there's one eye shown, it's because there's a knowledge that the God is blind. Like, the God is actually seeing not from a dualistic perspective per se. Meaning that when it's one eye, it's non-dualistic. When it's two eyes, it's dualistic. When it's one eye, it's the third eye. It's the illumination. So what it's the red, but when the color red is used, and this is why I was saying you have to look deeper into the symbolism. When the color red is used, then any adherent also knows that Azazel's chariot or cherubim is red, also called the red dragon. You see? So you have to understand why it's Rothschild, which is the red shield. Why it's Mars, which is the red child of war. You see, and of course, the color of red is blood. So you see it stretch across within the Dogon tribes. Individuals running around acting like they don't even know what's going on in the Dogon tribe and doing interviews and all that stuff and playing around with humanity. Talking about Earth, when Earth wants someone removed, is going to go ahead and remove them. Who's going to remove humans from Earth? Like, these people who come up and get on the camera and they say whatever, and people say, oh, that's who they are. But I've seen that marked on the walls of warlocks. Those are symbols of Saturn. Those are evocation symbols that exist even within the Bon tradition. This language in itself, as you see on this gentleman's crown, that's a language. So any person that's adept, when they see the language, then they already know where these people are coming from. So it's only to everyone else that it appears like they're so high and mighty and glorious, while anyone that is fully awake actually sees the play. And that's also some of the pain, because when you see humanity being trampled upon by basically counterfeiters, individuals who just plagiarize and take things that don't belong to them, meaning that take humans, not books and CDs and sayings. Some people are still even tripping on sharing information and us giving away information for free. So where this really is going to hinge is that people need to see who the real perpetrators are, why we're arguing and bickering amongst each other when we should have already came together. Now you see here, this is Menelik. This is one of the kings who are carrying the covenant of MLK, which is Sheba and Solomon. So what happened, or the Queen of Sheba, which you still have to identify as Bel-Kis, meaning the Lord of Kiss. So kissing, that's where we get our word, but there's a Lord of Kiss. So what is always given first by the goddess, when the death goddess, the kiss of death. So what happens here is that was the covenant. And so if you think that you're going to run back to some ancient place and you're going to find sanction there, doubt it. Because what you're actually going to find is these people are still doing the same thing for thousands of years. Now, here it is. Haile Selassie and Orthodox, Russian Orthodox archons. So some people say, no, he's just taking a picture. Okay, well, look, obviously, if you're going to keep coming up with excuses, then you're not going to get it anyway. But for those who know and whose eyes are open, they see so many things in this picture, because it connects it all for them. You see here the Illuminati. You see Roger Bacon. You see the real Muhammad. As Dr. Malachi York pointed out, that Muhammad, man, if you went to Arabia during that time and you said you wanted to find a man named Muhammad that was preaching about a new religion, they were going to laugh at you, because all what they were teaching was nothing but new religions. That's why the Kaaba was full of so many idols, because they kept opening up the doors that are corresponding to the pentagram or the seals of Solomon. So what happened, they set up multiple idols. So Muhammad was just another member of the Illuminati that wrote the book that was supposed to be his gift.